Hey, greetings. Dr. Charley Cropley here. Okay, this is the third of 5 insights into self-healing. And previously, I have discussed the first 2 of these insights. The first insight being that your illness, the afflictions that you have, your headaches, your bronchitis, your MS, are wise. They are wise and purposeful. That illness itself is wise. And the second insight is that your illness is communicating to you about 4 actions that you perform every day that are harming your health. And those actions are the behaviors of eating, of movement, of thinking, and of relating, right? 4. So that's what we spoke of last time. And today, this brings us to the challenge that if your illness is telling you that your behavior is harming you and creating illness, then we then face the challenge: how do we change our behavior? That's the question we left with last time. And the answer is, and this is our third insight, is we change our behavior by using power with rather than power over. Right? Now, what does that mean? Power over would be approaching your illness as not being wise and not being meaningful, and approaching your illness, let's say your headache, as just a problem to be gotten rid of. You want to have power over that, so you take ibuprofen or you medicate it in somehow. Or in the same, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, that you attempt to suppress it with prednisone or other medications. And you try to have power over it rather than power with it. Power with is what we're talking about here. Power with is saying, what is my rheumatoid arthritis trying to tell me? And approaching the arthritis as a wise messenger to you, and seeking to treat your arthritis in this case, or your illness, in the same way as you would want to be treated, rather than labeled as an enemy and either ignored or suppressed. So, so the approach of power with is one of befriending. It is moving toward and wanting to connect with. To use another example, you feel anxious, right? You're constantly feeling worried, anxious, and you may not know what. Rather than taking a tranquilizer, our approach is to befriend the anxiety, and notice perhaps that by using your breath and breathing, that your anxiety is ameliorated. And then learning through counseling, I counsel with my patients, to ask your anxiety, tell me what you're anxious about. Let me just listen to you and understand you. And you then gain insight, you gain understanding about what you're anxious about. You may be anxious that other people are judging you and don't like you. Well, so then you could go more into understanding that and be able to discover for yourself insights that help you to better understand yourself. Let's see. So we want to form a power with, a befriending, a working alongside of our physical body to be able to listen to the messages of our physical body. And as we do that and understand perhaps that we are tired, we need more sleep, that we're in pain and need to move some of our joints differently, or that we're constipated and perhaps our body is talking to us about the way we feed ourselves, but we befriend our physical body and form a closer relationship with it. I often ask this question of my patients to tell me, what is it like for you? And you can ask yourself this, what is it like for you living with your body? What is your experience of living with your body? And you can go into that and elaborate on it. And often it is one of a lot of dissatisfaction and suffering associated with it. And then I will ask my patients after this, what do you suppose that it's like for your body living with you? One patient said to me, for my body living with me, it's like being in the back seat of a car with a drunk driver. Right? So what is that like? Similarly, you can look at your emotional body and ask, what is my emotional body trying to tell me? If I'm anxious, or if I'm angry, or if I'm sad, or if I'm depressed. And what is my body trying to tell me about my behaviors, and how can I use my behaviors? How can I feed myself in a way that doesn't make me so emotional, right? We may be eating too much sugar, or drinking too much coffee, or drinking too much wine, or what is our body telling us about that? What are our emotions telling us about our exercise and about our relationships? And conversely, are our emotions driving our eating? Are our emotions bringing stress into our relationships? And you see that we have so much power available to ourselves when we stop abandoning ourselves and our suffering, and we stop ignoring ourselves and using power over to make our suffering go away and to be quiet, which is really not a very successful strategy. And instead, we come closer to ourselves and seek to use our behaviors to care for ourselves. So this is the work of learning to develop power with rather than power over. And you know for yourself that I'm sure you've been in situations where other people are in a relationship with you of power over and trying to control you and perhaps threaten you or scare you or intimidate you or shame you. And what type of response does that breed in you, right? Either you become combative and really resent it and come back at them, or you become intimidated and frightened. And either way, it's not evoking the type of, your response is not one that you want or other people want. All right, this is a segment of what I'm going to be covering next week in a 1-hour webinar that covers all 5 of these insights into self-healing and how to use them. And that webinar is next Wednesday, which I believe would be the 11th. I don't know. It's next Wednesday. And it is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think you can find out more about it on Facebook and perhaps on my Facebook page. And following that webinar, there will be a re-showing of the webinar at a later time, and that will be made known at the time of the webinar. I thank you. I know that you're watching this because you want to heal, and I want to give you the assurance that you have the power to heal yourself. You are self-healing. You can learn to care for yourself in ways that markedly improve your illness and your suffering. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to sharing more with you in the future.